Hi, I'm Liron Cohen.
And I'm Mimi Torchin.
And you're listening to Lady Parts TV, the podcast.
Whee!
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Greetings and salutations.
She's back.
I'm back.
It's been a long time. Yes, a lot has happened, but we're happy to be back. We hope you missed us. We have a lot of information for you. This podcast might run a little longer than usual, and we're still not going to be able to tell you everything we want to tell you, but there's next week and the one after.
Well, it'll be great for a commute, a long, boring commute, you know.
So before we get started, we have stats for you, and this time, because we were gone for so long,
we have massive stats.
We tallied 70 primetime shows, out of which, written or co-written by a woman, 36, which is 51%, which I may just add, really tickles my fancy because it's exactly our percentage in the population.
Exactly,
51.
or so they say.
This is how it should be.
Yes.
51% at least.
More of us.
At least. Yes. And then...
that's
gay people. I was about to say, it's not really that inconclusive.
It's not like, don't keep...
I'm in the closet as a woman.
America. They don't have to dress as men. Pretend not to be women.
A number of episodes directed by a woman, 25, which is 36%. Not as great, but I'll just focus on the 51% of writers. And...
the directors, though, I think a few years ago we would never have come close to
absolutely, yes. No, it's been much better. I'm just always.
And we saw a few
more
cinematographers too, which is something I always look for.
Yes, and the next two episodes that we're going to talk about, not too much in depth, but we can't go through this week without talking about them. These specific two episodes of two different shows that focus on two very much important mostly female issues, were almost entirely female behind the scenes, and it was just wonderful. So
it takes a woman to know a woman.
You probably guessed that the first one is Grey's Anatomy. Their episode from March 28th, Silent All These Years, was to me what TV at its best is.
Exactly. What it should be more often, but what it is more and more frequently.
It's, first of all, again, almost all women behind the scenes, and many of them came forward for that. If you haven't seen it, I don't know, where have you been, but if you go see it, that scene,
the
of course,
at the end,
lining the halls.
In support of...
A lot of the women behind the scenes asked to be part of that scene, to be one of those women along.
Yes, because I kept on thinking, boy, they really have a lot of women who work at this hospital. But it was people, executives, people from behind the scenes. It was so moving. It was so moving.
It was powerful. It was about sisterhood, womanhood, survival, courage, and it really did it beautifully. I mean, I was so moved, and yet it made such a powerful statement. Two women who blew my mind, besides, by the way, of course, Camilla Luddington,
who was simply wonderful.
Yes, and who doesn't really get too much of an opportunity, to do stuff like that. And Michelle Forbes, who plays her mother, and Khalila Joy,
and also Kim Raver was wonderful.
Right.
Yes,
but Michelle Forbes and Khalila Joy, who were the two guest stars, and they are being submitted for an Emmy.
As well, they should be.
I don't think Grey's has won any Emmys throughout the years. I don't, and if maybe in the beginning a little bit, but not for a long
really
time.
Not. I mean, come on, people. The show is outstanding.
There's a reason why it's
Survivor.
Been around.
You don't last for 17 years, whatever, without being excellent. It just doesn't happen.
Right, and these two performances
are outstanding and heartbreaking, kind of even enraging.
For Michelle Forbes, you mean?
Forbes. I thought that there were certain aspects of her character that made me angry.
Before you knew all the facts, maybe?
Before I knew all the facts, of course, but I guessed the story, pretty early on into their conversation together. Anyway, it's about rape.
Of course, the whole episode is about rape and violence.
And what it begets. in the lives of the women and the children of the women, the repercussions, and to me the scene that was, and what it was all about really was consent. That I read this, that it was trying to emphasize consent from many different angles.
Right. So the process of the rape kit.
The rape kit, where you have to consent to every procedure that they do for a rape kit. The show ended with Chandra Wilson's son.
Oh, with Bailey.
Yeah, with Bailey's son being...
Right, having the conversation.
Having the conversation.
And ironically enough, Shonda Rhimes kind of had to get consent from, what are they called? Standards and procedures.
Standards and procedures to do this.
Who would not give her the permission to go through with it. And she said, no, I'm doing this exactly as it is. They didn't want the scene with the rape kit to be so in-depth. And yeah. So,
and then they said, you know what, you're right.
Yes, good for them.
Good for them.
So anyway,
I don't think you mess with Shonda too much. I have a feeling. Anyway, it was a perfect episode from beginning to end.
And let me tell you, even if you don't watch Grey's Anatomy, watch this episode. You don't even have to watch anything before that. It's a pretty standalone episode. And it's just a masterpiece in what television should be like more.
And as a woman, it will resonate with your soul.
I should say there is a trigger warning. It could be triggering for women who have experienced sexual assault, sexual domestic violence, of course. So, heed that warning.
As have so many women.
Yes.
I also just wanted to add that I'm a huge fan of Michelle Forbes. Ever since she was on Guiding Light as Sunny Salida. And... everything she does is
always pitch perfect.
Always pitch perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
The second show
is big kudos for 911. Their April Fools.
Not funny at all.
Which was not funny at all. Episode Fight or Flight, written and directed by women, about domestic violence at its worst. About why women don't leave their abusers, what often happens when they do leave their abusers, and how women who do get away are never able to rest, so they learn to take care of themselves.
If they can. It's hard. And the people around them, if they're lucky, also help them
very
out.
supportive.
This was, I just want to say, the culmination of a storyline that's been going on for the whole season.
The whole season. Yes, Jennifer Love Hewitt, who took over for actually Connie Britton as the dispatcher. She has never been one of my favorite actresses. Well, she's moved over into a new category now because this performance was so commanding, so gut-wrenching, so exhausting physically and emotionally. She was just magnificent. And the story is very important. All the reasons that I mentioned before. I mean, domestic violence is one of the worst problems we have.
But I think that
in the world.
The thing is that a lot of people just kind of dismiss it as, why did she not leave? And I think one of the most important things to show is why it's not that easy to leave. Why many of the time the woman is most at risk when she leaves.
Exactly. And
so it was a really, really powerful episode.
And harrowing from beginning to end, and they employed flashbacks very well.
Mm-hmm. And I always loved 911, but I think it's really, really finding a firm, solid ground, finding its footing, really having more of its own voice. And I'm so thrilled that it's been announced that it's going to be there's going to be a season 3. It's been renewed.
Yes. It's a very good show, very powerful show, but this episode, again, to me, is a must-watch.
Yes.
And I don't even think you need to have known her history.
No, I think it's pretty clear.
They recap that she's come to get away from him.
Yes.
And that's really all you need to know. And to both of these shows.
Okay, so now we have a new movie review for you.
Yes, that's opening Friday.
Well, it's opening April 5th, so by the time you'll hear this, it's already been opened.
It's called The Public. It was written and directed by Emilio Estevez. And let me just tell you that I loved this film from beginning to end. It's a small film with a huge heart and a big message. It has a wonderful cast, as Alec Baldwin said last night on Jimmy Fallon, that when Emilio Estevez calls, if you're available, you answer. And because he's such a wonderful filmmaker, and he only does, things that are very important to him. This film is really virtuosic, I think. The cast is wonderful. It stars Emilio Estevez. He wrote and directed it, by the way. Alec Baldwin, Taylor Schilling, Jenna Malone, Christian Slater, Gabrielle Union, Jeffrey Wright, and Michael K. Williams.
And more.
and more, exactly more. And takes place at the Cincinnati Public Library. And it's the coldest. There's a weather alert. It's so cold, and the city's homeless are dying on the streets. There aren't enough shelters. There aren't enough room for them. And what you see also is that the library, especially the third floor, that's Emilio Estevez's bailiwick, is a supervisor. They come all the time. They use the bathrooms. They spend the day there in bad weather. They use the internet. They read books. It's a welcoming place for them, and they respect, and it's a beautiful symbiosis of a place and people. And the premise also sort of is the public library is sort of the last bastion of true democracy, free speech. It's a place for people to feel safe, and of course, it's all about bureaucracy. It's all about police, it's all about ambition, and it's the forces of need against the forces of
greed.
And so of course there's a standoff. The homeless people stage they've done everything they can to find a place for the night. There just isn't enough of them. Their friends are dying, and so Emilio Estevez joins with them to have a sit-in, basically. And, of course, it gets way out of control because Christian Slater, who to me is the only flaw in the film, he plays the district attorney who wants to be mayor, and he's practically, all he needs is a mustache to twirl as far as how villainous and one-sided he is. He's sort of the only person who has no soul in this movie, and he is completely that, soulless. But it's a beautiful movie. It's a moving movie.
It's very sensitive.
It's very sensitive. It's got some funny things in it, a lot of surprises, and I think it's a story that really needs to be told, and it is told pitch perfectly in this movie. It's called The Public. Go see it. It doesn't really have anything to do with women. It has to do
women
with,
in it,
yes,
but it's
of
not.
Course, but it's not.
Well, I'd like to think
it's about humanity, and
exactly.
to me, anything that is about humanity is woman-centric.
Yes, and I'd like to think that we have a social justice oriented.
Yes, we do definitely
approach, and so
this movie, I just adored it.
We also want to tell you about a new series. It's on, all 6 episodes of it are already on Hulu. It's called Shrill. You may have heard about it because it's been really well reviewed, well received. Created by Aidy Bryant, who is from SNL, Saturday Night Live. Lindy West and Alexandra Rushfield. And it's starring Aidy Bryant and also Lolly Adefope.
It's probably Adefope.
Julia Sweeney, Luke Jones, John Cameron Mitchell. And it's about a woman, a young woman, a millennial, not exactly, she's like 30. Yeah. And if you know Aidy Bryant, you know that she is a bit heavier set
she's a big
woman.
Girl.
And
she's a short, big girl.
This is all about her trying to find her place in the world without having to change how she looks in order to fit in. And there's a lot about body shaming, body positivity, body image, how it goes from one generation to the next, how it affects her, things that have to do with womanhood. There's an abortion that they dare to do, and they don't take it back. It's so rare.
As endangered as Roe versus Wade is, abortion is still legal in this country, and very few shows dare to go there.
Right. Sometimes somebody will be contemplating it, but they'll always in the end see like an ultrasound or something and decide not to go through with it. Whenever somebody raises the option of an abortion, I'm like, let's see if they actually go there.
I mean, we're not advocating. We're not saying, oh, yay, abortion.
No, but
we're just saying that it is a choice
exist.
that people make,
and should be allowed to make.
Yes. And they need to show that option a little more often.
Yes. There's also a cool lesbian roommate.
Yes, I love her.
It's a very funny, subtle, sweet show.
It is. It's very
intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Very intelligent.
And yeah, she works for an online newspaper, and even the people in the office are interesting, but they're not overpowering. She has a friend. She has a support system.
Yeah,
she has some good friends,
good people,
and her mother's fairly supportive.
Well, it's all about. What it really shows more than anything, I think it's about how constant, even if subtle, how constant the messages are that she is not okay the way that she is. And those messages are in all the little things,
Absolutely.
All the little assumptions, all the way that people talk to her, the way that people see her, and it's so subtle, but you can't miss it.
Well, it's subtle sometimes, and sometimes it slaps you in the face with it. It
Right.
Whack, 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 whack.
Right. But it's kind of a mirror to people, because here you are, she's the protagonist, and all of a sudden you see things through her eyes, and you see how she goes through the day, and it's constantly there. And she has
you want to say, come on, girl, don't take that,
But she has to live.
She has to learn.
Yes, she has to learn.
She has
to
to learn how to
live with it and
negotiate
still love
that,
herself.
Still love herself,
Yep.
exactly.
It's a very, very. I'm so happy this show exists.
Yes, me too.
Shrill, it's on Hulu right now. Only 6 episodes,
yes,
half hour each.
Hour.
Yeah, it's an easy binge.
Exactly, and there's a lot of fun in it too.
Yes,
it's not all serious.
No, it's actually not. I mean, the serious is being delivered through the jokes and through the. We also have a new season review. Secret City is back on Netflix, season 2, called Under the Eagle.
Yes, all you Anna Torv, it's on Netflix right now.
All you Anna Torv and now Danielle Cormack
fans.
Also Jackie Weaver, Louisa Mignon, and Laura Gordon.
Who was wonderful.
It's a very, very female-centric season.
Extremely.
Extremely. All the important characters.
The men, while they may be important, like the prime minister and to the plot, still all seem sort of peripheral to the women.
They serve the plot, but the plot is centered around these women who are the main agents of the story. And the thing about this, the same thing happened to me in this season as it did in the first season. And I just want to remind you as well, because this is a very dense show.
It is. It really is. You cannot do, as I do way too often, play with your phone, pet your cat.
Even just let your mind wander. I mean, you miss a line and you miss something important.
Right. You have to watch. If you don't want to keep on, and it's very hard to rewind with Netflix, if you don't want to have to say, wait, I have to hear that again, just pay attention the first time. And you may, even after the first episode, still be wondering exactly what's going on.
It took me 3.
It takes a couple of episodes.
I usually, it's 6 episodes. It's an Australian show. And by the middle of the season, I kind of, now I get more. Well, also because they reveal things. They don't dumb things down to you. They don't give you an exposition to get you started. They just kind of drop you into the events, and you have to figure it alongside Harriet, who is Anna Torv's character.
Harriet Dunkley.
Who is a journalist, an investigative journalist, very hardcore, in Canberra.
Very hardcore and fearless. Oh, my God.
Yep. And this time she's teamed up with
she's not even writing the story this time.
No,
this time she's just going for the truth. Yes.
And she's teamed up with an independent MP, played by Danielle Cormack, and to reveal a truth you will find out what about. But it's all about politics. It's all about corruption. And
it's also the peeling of the onion and military, industrial,
terrorism,
secrets, terrorism,
the Patriot Act.
It's just about things that will make you want to just scream.
Because it's going on all the time.
Yes.
In the real world.
And there are surprises. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. This is one of those shows, it doesn't matter that you're not quite sure what's
you will
going
eventually.
on. You still will enjoy getting there.
Yeah, and you will understand it eventually.
Absolutely, and it's where the journey is. It's
Enjoyable.
not the destination, really, that
exactly.
that is important here.
So, Secret City, Under the Eagle, it's on Netflix right now. Go and binge.
Enjoy. Now, here's a heads up. We'll review it after it's already happened, but it's something especially all you theater fans, musical theater fans are going to love. It's a new miniseries called Fosse/Verdon. It's, of course, about Bob Fosse and Gwen Verdon, the 5 decades of their relationship and creative partnership. It's, if you don't know who they are,
Google them.
Google them. There's nothing I can tell you. You need to watch it if you don't know who they are. If you do know who they are, well, of course, he was one of the greatest and most influential choreographers and directors in musical theater. Gwen Verdon was one of the great dancers, way up there, Broadway dancers. There are a lot of stars, Liza Minnelli, different people who will run through it.
Obviously played by other people.
Yes, of course. Sam Rockwell plays Fosse, and Michelle Williams plays Gwen Verdon. It's not a casting I would have thought of as on the nose, but she does sing and dance. And Rockwell. Exactly. I'm willing to see. I love her, so I know she's going to be fine. Sam Rockwell to me was an odd choice, but doesn't matter. I think they'll be good. Susan Meisner's in it. Laura Osnes. Margaret Qualley plays Anne Reinking, who has a very important role in their lives. And
it's really a very big lineup of actors who are playing even bigger
and the
characters.
Executive producers, Lin-Manuel Miranda, Joel Fields, the Americans, Stephen Levinson, who wrote the book for Dear Evan Hansen. If you love musical theater, you can't miss this. If you love Bob Fosse and his work and Gwen Verdon, well, congratulations. Here's a show that was made just for you.
I just want to say, it's funny because it's the kind of show that when I see, I was like, oh, that's a Ryan Murphy show. Of course, it's on FX too, so especially. But no, it's not, because Ryan Murphy now has a humongous deal with Netflix. So it will be interesting to see, because I'm so used to seeing things like that coming from Ryan Murphy in the last few years. Mm-hmm. It will be interesting to see a different touch on this kind of story. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it should be very interesting because Fosse was very experimental in his time. And everything that's ever done about him is sort of,
weird.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of avant-garde and artsy-fartsy and for
well,
good or ill. Mostly for good.
I'm looking forward to reviewing this, but we just wanted to give you a heads up. It's
Tuesday,
on FX.
April 9th.
Right, on FX, Tuesday, April 9th, and we'll talk about it later after we've watched a few.
Jazz hands.
She sounded like Jack now. All right, so last 2 items on our list one is, I know we're way, way late, but we have a retroactive new season review for Grace and Frankie. Season 5, the latest season, is on Netflix now, and there's a reason that it took us so long, besides, other matters like going abroad and other things, but there's a reason why it took us so long to watch it. Yeah. Well, that should have actually helped. With our viewing, Wanted and binging on Rebecca.
Yes, exactly.
Things didn't help. But here's the thing. When I was in Israel, I set up Netflix on my parents' television, and I started my mom on Grace and Frankie. So I watched the first 6 episodes of the first season with her, and I was amazed at how good it was right off the bat. Because all I could remember retroactively was that with every season, it just got better and better and better. So to see that the first season was so strong, and then it only got better, was great until season 5, which to me was a loss, a total loss.
It was a downer.
It also lacked a story and a direction. It had tons of men writing and directing a show that is so prominently about women, and that, the previous seasons were very female heavy on behind the scenes, and I don't know why they decided to do it so male heavy this time. Also,
it was a mistake, obviously, because the show was not very good. Yeah, the season was not very good.
Also, they turned Frankie into a crazy person.
A lunatic.
And especially now that I went back to season 1 and I saw her, sure, she was eccentric, she was loopy, but she had a big heart and she always made sense in her own way. She had her own world and her own way where she made sense. Now she's just crazy and mostly
annoying.
Yes, mostly she's enraging.
So annoying and enraging. And you can't imagine how Grace, who is just put together. She's straightforward. She's no nonsense. How she puts up with her anymore.
Yeah, and the finale, which if you haven't seen, we're not going to talk about too much, but the finale was kind of a
weird.
Yeah, it was a weird kind of an alternate universe kind of
thing.
idea, which kind of was dropped in the middle of nowhere and kind of ended without any reason or any.
The alternate universe.
Yeah, it was weird.
We don't know if it was a dream, if it was just.
I thought the whole season was not up to par. I really hope that they get themselves back together in season 6. I mean, I still enjoyed a lot of it, but I think the jokes
because
were
we
also
love
very
them.
flat. Yes,
and we like the cast.
Yes, I will pretty much watch anything Lily Tomlin and Jane Fonda do together, and apart.
There was a dog.
Yes, there was a dog. There was a pig. There were a few pigs.
There were a few pigs, but the men got a dog.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we would love to hear what you thought about this season.
We really would, because it was
disappointing. LadyPartsTV@gmail.com, by the way, for your opinions, recommendations, etc. As always.
As always.
Now, this is the point where if you haven't been up to date on The Rookie episodes, particularly episode 16 from March 19th, Green Light, which I know we're also late about too, but if you haven't watched it yet, this is where we will bid you adieu. Thank you for listening and invite you to come back next week.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that we just saw Sara Bareilles at a Times Talk.
Yes. Just a little plug for Sara Bareilles.
And she also sang. Sara Bareilles is one of the most enlightened and fantastic singer-songwriters and human beings
in general
of our generation, of this generation. She's 40. Anyway, she just gets better and better. She's so open. Her heart is so huge, and she puts all of this kindness and funniness and intellect. She's so intelligent into her work. And she has a new album that may have already dropped, is dropping soon, called Amidst the Chaos. And I say let's support Sara Bareilles because
absolutely.
It's time she won a Grammy. She's been nominated 7
it's actually
times.
Way past
she should have probably won Tony.
Yes.
And
I went mostly for you because you love her so much. And I have to say, I came out of there completely smitten. And when she sang,
oh my God,
I was in awe, and I felt, which I don't normally feel because I'm very particular about my music. I felt privileged to have been in the presence of that. And she's doing theaters now. She's also working on a new TV show on Apple.
TV show with J.J. Abrams.
It's going to be on Apple.
Yep, Apple.
Yet another something we have to
streamer.
Anyway, Sara Bareilles, who, by the way, you found through Loving Annabelle.
Yes, Loving Annabelle. I heard Gravity. The song was rocked my world. I went to look up whose song is this, and that was it. I was there for ever.
So Sara Bareilles. Now, if going back to The Rookie, if you have seen The Rookie, then you can stay, and it's just a spoiler alert for anybody who's behind, because this is kind of our big bummer.
Big bummer. So here's what they did on The Rookie. They killed Captain Zoe Anderson, played by the wonderful Mercedes Mason, or as we always call her, Ophelia from the Fear the Walking Dead. They wanted to shake the show up, and they had to kill somebody, and they decided
to kill our favorite character.
One of our favorite characters. No, she's not front and center all the time, but they gave her a wonderful episode. We said, wow, they're finally realizing what a fantastic asset she is to the show. And then really I did start to realize it a few minutes before it happened. I said, oh, no, I don't like where this is going. We both said, we have a really bad feeling.
Yeah.
And they did.
Sure enough.
They killed her off. It's a good thing she wasn't a lesbian, because we'd really be angry.
Well, we don't know. They never said anything about her private life, which is another mistake. I'm so disappointed.
So she was a powerful,
hot,
really a good leader.
And she was the captain.
She was the captain of the precinct, and she was really smart.
But she was also nurturing.
Very nurturing.
Especially in this episode, you saw her kind of mentoring a younger female cop.
Exactly, and that she was the one who made sure that the Rookie came to under her command because she felt that he would be an asset to them with his age and experience.
She is there were so many things to explore with her. They could have expanded her character so much. I am now just a little less interested in the rookie.
Me too. I mean, I love it. I love certainly
it
not going to give it up. They have good women on the show.
Yes, although now one of my least favorite tropes, now that we're already seeing it's going to be a revolving door of one terrible captain after another. Male.
They may even have a terrible female captain. Let's just hope that they settle in, and let's hope that they settle female. Let's hope that they find somebody that is worthy of her death.
Yeah, that it's not going to be the Murphy Brown revolving door of secretaries, or just, another male captain. She was so perfect. She had so much potential. I thought he was, as my one of my favorite quotes from Pretty Woman is, a big mistake. Huge.
And let me just say one more thing. I know we should end with that because that was a nice quote. But to me, this shows why her character showed why women should run the world.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's a good way to end this too. So there you go, Beyonce. Women. She says
girls.
Women rule the girls.
She said girls.
Right, and that they rule the world already. I think we have a ways to go.
Ways to go, but we should.
Yes, we definitely should. So, on this note, go and rule the world, ladies.
Yes.
And thank you for joining us, and come back next week and also tell us how you ruled the world this week.
That's a very good idea.
Right? LadyPartsTV@gmail.com. Tell us how you ruled the world.
Rah, rah, rah.
Later.